If you think your silence is what affects her the most, you may be missing the real power you actually hold, because silence can make someone wonder. Silence can create distance. Silence can make her notice your absence. But silence alone is not the strongest move. There is something deeper than no contact, something more powerful than disappearing, something that does not just change the way she sees you, it changes the way you see yourself. And once a man understands this, he stops using silence as a tactic and starts becoming emotionally untouchable. Most men are taught that no contact is the ultimate move. Stop texting, stop calling, stop watching her stories, stop replying fast, disappear completely. Let her feel your absence. And yes, no contact can create curiosity. It can make her wonder why you stopped chasing. It can make her question whether she still has access to you. But here is the uncomfortable truth. Silence can still be attachment. A man can stop texting and still be waiting. He can block her number and still think about her every night. He can stop watching her stories and still wonder who she is with. He can go silent and still secretly hope she comes back. And if your silence is secretly waiting to be noticed, then it is not strength. It is pain pretending to be discipline. That is what most men get wrong. They think silence hurts her because she cannot hear from them anymore. But the real shift happens when she can no longer feel your emotional dependence, when she can no longer sense that invisible pull, when she can no longer tell that your whole mood still depends on her reaction, because there is a huge difference between not speaking to someone and no longer needing anything from them emotionally. One is a strategy, the other is self-respect. One is a move, the other is transformation. One says, I hope she notices I'm gone. The other says, whether she notices or not, I am coming back to myself. Geis an inarver. That is where real Stoicism begins. Stoicism is not about acting cold. It is not about pretending you do not care. It is not about becoming emotionless. A Stoic man still feels. He still remembers. He still misses certain moments. He still feels disappointment, but he does not allow those feelings to control his direction. He does not let nostalgia drag him back into a place that damaged his peace. He does not let loneliness convince him to accept disrespect. He does not let one woman's uncertainty become the center of his life. That is emotional discipline. And emotional discipline is far stronger than silence, because silence can be fake. Silence can be performative. Silence can be used to trigger a reaction, but real emotional detachment cannot be faked for long. A woman can sense when your silence is heavy. She can sense when you are angry. She can sense when you are pretending not to care. She can sense when you are still waiting behind the distance. And when she senses that, she still feels in control. Because even though you are not talking, your energy is still connected to her. You are still orbiting her. You are still measuring yourself by her response. You are still asking inside your mind, does she miss me? Is she thinking about me? Did she notice I pulled away? Will she come back? That is not freedom. That is emotional captivity without words. But when a man becomes truly grounded, something changes. He is not silent to punish her. He is not distant to manipulate her. He is not disappearing to make her panic. He is simply choosing peace. He is choosing his own life. He is choosing his own direction. He is choosing not to keep handing emotional access to someone who brought confusion into his nervous system. And that is what unsettles people more than silence. Because now she cannot predict you. She cannot feel you waiting. She cannot rely on your attachment. She cannot assume that one soft message will pull you back. She cannot use mixed signals to keep you emotionally close. You are no longer playing the game. You have stepped away from the board completely. That is the power most men never understand. True strength is not withholding communication. True strength is withholding emotional dependence. When you stop checking whether she has viewed your story, you become free. When you stop posting things hoping she sees them, you become free. When you stop imagining her reaction to your growth, you become free. When you stop needing her regret to validate your value, you become free. And freedom carries a different energy, A silent man may still be waiting, but a free man has already moved on internally, not because he hates her, not because she meant nothing, not because he has no emotions, but because his peace finally matters more than her approval. Most men misunderstand what creates emotional weight. They think pain creates it. They think mystery creates it. They think ignoring her creates it. They think delayed replies create it. But what really creates emotional weight is self-containment. A self-contained man does not chase. He does not beg. He does not over-explain. He does not keep defending his value to someone who already knows what he gave. He observes. He listens to patterns instead of promises. He watches actions instead of emotional speeches. He pays attention to how he feels around someone, calm or anxious, respected or confused, valued or tolerated, chosen or kept as an option. That awareness is not cold. That awareness is maturity, because when a man stops trying to control the outcome, he becomes grounded. And grounded men are rare. Most men were taught to chase, to fix, to prove, to endure, to fight for love even when love has stopped fighting for them. But very few men were taught to step back and ask, is this connection actually good for me? Is she meeting me with the same energy? Am I being loved, or am I just being used for emotional comfort? Do I feel more powerful with her or more insecure? Those questions change everything, because once a man starts asking the right questions, he stops being easy to manipulate. Chemistry is no longer enough. Attraction is no longer enough. A pretty face is no longer enough. A late-night message is no longer enough. A random apology is no longer enough. A man with self-respect needs consistency. He needs peace. He needs emotional maturity. He needs a woman whose actions match her words. And when she senses that temporary affection no longer controls you, something shifts. Because now she understands that access to you is not automatic. It is earned through respect, through consistency, through alignment, through effort. And standards like that do not beg. They either attract the right energy or they walk away peacefully. That peaceful detachment is what hits harder than silence. Silence can look like a tactic, but standards feel permanent. When a woman realizes you are not waiting for her to change, that you are simply continuing your life, she has to confront something, not because you forced her, not because you sent a long paragraph, not because you tried to make her jealous, but because your stability exposes the instability she brought, your peace exposes the chaos, your growth exposes what she no longer has access to. And the most powerful part is this. This shift is not really about her. It is about you, because when you stop chasing emotional closure, your body starts to relax, your sleep improves, your focus comes back, your thoughts slow down. You stop checking your phone like your worth depends on one notification. You stop replaying conversations all night. You stop waking up with that heavy feeling in your chest. You stop living inside what if. That calm is the real reward. And ironically, that calm is what creates the deepest psychological impact. Because calm men cannot be emotionally leveraged. They cannot be baited by mixed signals. They cannot be controlled by inconsistency. They cannot be pulled back by one soft message after months of confusion. A calm man listens. He observes. He decides. And if the pattern does not align with his peace, he leaves. Not angrily, not dramatically, not to punish her, but because he has learned that peace is too expensive to keep spending on the wrong person. Here is the truth most men learn too late. The goal was never to make her miss you. The goal was to become the man who no longer abandons himself. At first, no contact may come from survival. You need space because the connection hurts. You need silence because every conversation reopens the wound. You need distance because being close keeps you stuck. That is normal. That is human. But growth begins when silence stops being a shield and starts becoming clarity. Clarity about what you tolerate. Clarity about what you deserve. Clarity about the kind of woman you want beside you. Clarity about the kind of man you are becoming. Because when Stoicism becomes emotional responsibility, you stop outsourcing your peace. You no longer wait for someone to choose you before you feel valuable. You no longer interpret her distance as proof that you are not enough. You no longer scramble to restore a connection that keeps damaging your dignity. You no longer confuse anxiety with love. You no longer confuse longing with compatibility. You no longer confuse chaos with passion. That is when real masculine power begins. You start choosing yourself in small ways. You go to the gym even when your mind feels heavy. You focus on your work even when memories come back. You reconnect with friends instead of isolating. You fix your routine. You improve your body. You strengthen your mind. You stop trying to become attractive to her and start becoming proud of yourself. That is the difference. You are not trying to look unbothered. You are becoming internally anchored. And when a man becomes anchored, he becomes hard to shake. If she comes back, he does not instantly melt. If she apologizes, he listens, but he watches patterns. If she says she misses him, he remembers why he had to leave. If she stays silent, he does not collapse. If she gives mixed signals, he does not chase clarity from confusion, because he understands one thing now: love is not proven through longing. Love is proven through consistency, and consistency cannot be forced. When a man reaches this stage, his presence changes. He walks differently. He speaks more calmly. He does not rush to explain himself. He does not chase validation in every room. He does not need to prove he is enough. He knows he is enough. And because he knows it, he does not need to announce it. That is what self-contained energy feels like. It is not loud. It is not arrogant. It is not fake alpha behavior. It is quiet confidence. It is emotional control. It is the energy of a man who has been hurt but not destroyed. A man who has loved but not lost himself. A man who has walked away but not become bitter. That is real stoicism, not revenge, not emotional shutdown, not pretending she never mattered. Refinement. A stoic man does not say, "I will never feel again." He says, "I will never let my feelings make me abandon myself again." He does not say, "I do not care." He says, "I care, but I still choose what is right for me." He does not say, "She meant nothing." He says, "She mattered, but my peace matters too." That is maturity. That is masculine discipline. That is the difference between a boy reacting to pain and a man being shaped by it. Because when a man refines himself instead of reacting to loss, he does not just become more attractive. He becomes free. Free from chasing, free from proving, free from needing closure from someone who could not offer clarity, free from checking whether she cares, free from trying to control how she remembers him, free from needing her return to validate his growth, and that freedom carries more weight than silence ever will. A silent man may still be waiting, but a free man is already gone. Emotionally, internally, spiritually, he has returned to himself. And when a man returns to himself, he becomes almost impossible to pull back into the same dynamic that once weakened him. That is what hurts more than silence. Not because you are trying to hurt her, but because your emotional independence proves something undeniable. She no longer has the same access. She no longer has the same influence. She no longer gets to disturb your peace with one message. She no longer gets to make you question your worth with one delay. She no longer gets to keep you emotionally available while offering uncertainty. And whether she admits it or not, that changes how she experiences you, because the man who used to orbit her has become centered. The man who used to wait has started moving. The man who used to explain has become quiet with purpose. The man who used to chase clarity has become clear within himself. The man who used to fear losing her has realized that losing himself was the greater danger. That is the transformation every man needs to understand. Your power is not in making her miss you. Your power is in no longer needing her to. Your power is not in making her regret losing you. Your power is in building a life where her regret is irrelevant. Your power is not in becoming cold. Your power is in becoming whole. So do not make no contact your identity. Make self-respect your identity. Do not ask, "How long should I stay silent?" Ask, "How deeply am I returning to myself?" Do not ask, "Will she come back?" Ask, "Will I still respect myself if she does?" Do not ask, "Does she miss me?" Ask, do I miss the man I was before I started chasing someone who made me feel uncertain? That question brings you back to reality, because the greatest loss was never her. The greatest loss was the version of you that started shrinking to keep her close. And the greatest comeback is not when she messages you. The greatest comeback is when you stop needing that message to feel powerful. So if you are in silence right now, do not waste it. Do not sit there waiting. Do not count the days. Do not keep checking. Do not pretend to heal while emotionally staring at the door she left through. Use the silence. Let it sharpen you. Let it discipline you. Let it reveal the places where you abandoned yourself. Let it remind you that your attention is sacred. Let it remind you that your peace is expensive. Let it remind you that not everyone deserves emotional access to you. And when you finally become calm, truly calm, not pretending, not performing, not secretly waiting, that is when you will understand. Silence may make her notice your absence, but emotional freedom makes her feel your evolution, and evolution cannot be faked. That is why the strongest move is not ignoring her. It is becoming so anchored in yourself that her presence or absence no longer decides your peace. That is the kind of man who cannot be manipulated. That is the kind of man who cannot be kept in uncertainty. That is the kind of man who stops chasing and starts choosing. And when a man starts choosing from self-respect, everything changes. If this message hit something deep in you, subscribe to Love, Lies, and Reality for more powerful truths about female psychology, masculine energy, emotional discipline, stoicism, self-respect, and the hidden relationship dynamics most men learn too late. And comment below, I choose peace, because sometimes that one sentence is the beginning of a man taking his power back. Like this video, share it with a man who needs to stop waiting and start rebuilding, and subscribe to Kursi in Saki Gi Love, Lies, and Reality. Remember this, silence may make her wonder, but your emotional freedom will make her realize she no longer controls the man you have become.